welcome to Late Night at the Lounge. It's the Week 10 recap here with your boy Jesse. Well, that was a anticlimactic ending to Monday Night Football in a game that was just a penalty fest. I mean, boy, the last couple of primetime games, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night, were some real stinkers, man. Now, if you don't follow me on X, I posted earlier that I went to the pepper mill. I was in Reno, so I figured I'll just stay down there for the day or a couple hours and go to the sports book at the pepper mill, which is really nice, and watch the game there since YouTube TV and ESPN still haven't worked out their differences in how to split up their billions. But for us, Week 10 was a winning week, although it was a disappointing week. We went 3-2, which is always, you always want to be on the positive side. But we needed better than that. I believe the top five in the contest, with the Eagles winning outright, went 4-1. So that's always tough because when you have that many people having winning weeks, that means a lot of people are advancing upwards. And only going 3-2, yes, it's a positive week. But I posted the video originally on Friday. And when I saw the injury report, one for Houston's offensive line with their two right side guard and tackle being out, I took it down. And I re-recorded it on Saturday. And I ended up swapping out New England for the Bucks because of the betting market and some other aspects. And I ended up swapping Seattle for Arizona because also the betting market. I'm so pissed off at myself. And I had Houston and the Giants in that lineup. Had I left it alone and went with the lineup that I had posted of the video on Friday, there was like 5 views before I took it down. So not like a lot of people saw it, but it did exist. I would have went 5-0. And that's 2 weeks in a row. Had I just followed my original picks and not let other factors influence me, I'd be sitting on a 10-0 streak right now. So really need to get out of my own head, it seems like, and just go with my gut on these ones because, it was a good pick with Los Angeles because there was a lot of people in the gambling sphere that were just touting over and over again that streak, the ATS streak with the underdog in that matchup between the Rams and the 49ers. And it just didn't seem right. And the thing that I didn't like about Arizona that I originally went with Seattle was their injuries in the secondary, but really the defense wasn't the problem. It was the turnovers by Jacoby Brissett early in that game that led directly to 14 points were the problem because it completely changed the way that game was played because they didn't score in the red zone a couple of times when they had to go for it when they were down big. And they ended up actually winning the turnover battle on that game. I believe it was 3 turnovers to 2. But the 2 led to 14 points, which was just a killer because now they're going for it on 4th downs when they could have been kicking field goals and adding points to that total. So tough one. And then the loss with New England and Tampa Bay, 2 good teams playing each other. One had a couple of really the Patriots scored almost all their points on big explosive plays. I think they had two long runs and then the big throw to Matt Collins were really the difference in that game. 3 plays that led to points or led to them being right there where they scored points. So, but we were right on the Rams. We were right on the Saints. They won outright as 5.5-point dogs on the road. I'll have to thank the 2 people that told me that was the side because I said it in the video that two people whose opinion I respect both told me that the Saints were the side in that game, and that was the overwhelming factor of why I took it. I said that in the video, and that one was an easy winner. They played really well, and this showed Carolina who are they. And now they're playing the Falcons, who lost outright. They should have won the damn game, but got it done for us, losing by 6 in overtime when we had the plus 6.5. That was our third winner. That was such a disappointing game, though. I live in the Pacific time zone. If you don't know that, why I start the videos when I do, the live streams. But to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to watch that first game, and then for it to end the way it did as a Falcons fan, I was so pissed. Like, why are they not putting Kirk Cousins in this game at some point? I know he did not play well the first time he played this year, but like, Michael Penix was so inaccurate. They were 0 for 8 on third downs, and they still had a chance to win that game. You can't say it wasn't the quarterback. Every other aspect in that game. I mean, there was some drops in that game that, like the one from Kyle Pitts. But overall, man, if you can't complete the passes on third down to convert first downs, your defense is going to be gassed because they're constantly going 3 and out. They keep back on the field. But that's me ranting about my 5. But so this has got to be updated. I should update this. We are now in week 10. Oops. So we were 3-2. That means we're 3-2 into the third quarter, which is not great. You never want to. I mean, at least we're not losing, but this is only a 4-week quarter, so in order to get up there, we'd have to go 5-0 the next 3 weeks just to have an opportunity. But we are 3-2 in week 10 and 28-22 overall in the Circa Millions contest. Now, let me cut back here real quickly. So we were, there it goes. So obviously the underdog won this one. So 1, 2, but didn't cover. So we had 1, 2, 3. We had 3 games where the underdog covered the spread but did not win the game. That's not normal. I mean, normally if you have 3, that's a lot. Because normally the winner, either the favorite wins and covers the spread or the underdog wins outright, which we saw a few underdogs. The Jets, 2 special team touchdowns, a kick return and a punt return. They are living on the edge, man. That was how they won their first game, was a bunch of special teams plays. We talked about the Saints. That was one of our winners. Good call by my insiders. Dolphins. I said it earlier in the week that if I was going to take a side in this game, it would have to have been the Dolphins and the points. But I was too chicken shit to put it in the contest because who wants to step in front of that Bills team? That was like all the people who were talking about the Washington Commanders plus the points was the right side. They got smoked. You know what I mean? Sometimes you step in front of one of these freight trains, you get ran over. I mean, that's kind of what happened to our Cardinals pick. Seahawks got to be one of the best teams. I mean, Mike McDonald's defenses are just insane. This dude he's got to be one of the best defensive coordinators, defensive head coaches in football. I mean, Vrabel is probably one of the better strategists. I always say that, though, that he is the best game-to-game planner in the NFL. He is Bill Belichick reincarnate. Like, I don't know if he'll have the success that Belichick had, but he understands how to look at the opponent you are facing and figure out their strengths and their weaknesses and to exploit them. I mean, what are they on, a 7-game win streak now? And I mentioned it in the first video that I ended up deleting that he had like a long I think he had like a 7 or 8 game ATS streak, winning streak against or as the head coach of the Titans. It was one of those seasons where every week everybody's like, you got to fade the Titans, you got to fade the Titans, you got to fade the Titans. And every single week they covered the spread. They're like the Lions. You know what I mean? You don't want to bet against them. And I'm so upset with myself that I went back and took that video down because I don't put the picks until Saturday, even though the video originally I put out on Friday because I wasn't going to do the live stream Saturday because the stupid YouTube TV had no good games. I mean, we ended up live streaming with Navy Notre Dame, which was a complete blowout. But yeah, I'm just so upset with myself that I went back because I said it in the video, that Vrabel, he's the difference. Todd Bowles is ultra conservative coach. Giants and Bears, I mean, that was a fun game. I don't want to see Jackson Dart getting hurt, though, man. This dude's got to, stop taking these big shots and learn to slide, man. Dable fired. The Giants fired their coach. Wouldn't it be something? I don't think Lane Kiffin's leaving Ole Miss. I think he just signed an extension. I'm not a big college football watcher. I watch the games on Saturday, but I don't pay attention to the news. But I think he signed a new extension with Ole Miss. But wouldn't that be something to have Lane Kiffin go from Ole Miss to the Giants with his former quarterback Jackson Dart there now and take over that team and run the offense for them? That'd be something. But that was a good game, man. In the snow. It was like perfect drama on television. This game, man. That was, when I turned on the game, because I think I was watching the end of the Jacksonville-Houston, so it didn't refresh on the quad box. When I finally got the game on, the Seattle was up 7-0. They scored on the opening drive. So I'm like, all right, not a great start, right? But I expected a shootout anyway because of the secondary injuries to both teams. And it was not even 3 seconds or 3 plays into the drive. Fumble. Boom. Touchdown. Get the ball back. Give it back to Seattle. Touchdown. It's like, holy shit, man. They were down 28-0 before the first quarter was over. And they still put up a fight. I mean, had they actually scored on their opportunities in the red zone, because the defense made those turnovers for the Cardinals at the 50-yard line. So it's not like they had to go all the way down the field to score. They were there. They had opportunities to score, and they kept having to go for touchdowns because they were losing by so much. And Seattle's defense bowed up. Oh, man. I'm so pissed at myself. I even said it, that Jacoby Brissett is a backup quarterback for a reason. Yes, he's going to play a couple of good games, but in the end, he's a backup quarterback, and he was going against one of the best defenses in football right now. Oh, I'm so pissed at myself for not trusting my original instincts and allowing myself to be manipulated by the ticket count and the money being bet. I got to, remember the public wins too. The best handicappers, the people who are betting big money, are only winning maybe at a 62% clip. They're not killing it going 80%. They just bet so much money and they understand how to do this on, where they can hedge their bets, that when they do win, they win significant amounts. That's what it's about. It's not about their winning percentage. It's about the amounts that they bet when they do win. Lions, I mean, they were the number 1 pick again. And they just keep getting it done, man. People are not afraid to lay points with this Lions team. And obviously the Commanders are all banged up and old and crusty. Not really a team that's really competitive. We give them a lot of credit for last year, but last year was such a coin flip season. There was 8 wins that they had that could have very easily gone the other way. Now they're regressing and going to have to rebuild with younger draft picks. Rams and Niners, that was a good game. The Rams ended up winning handily. The 49ers put up a fight in the beginning, but what I said was the 49ers defense was just too banged up. They're just too hurt against the too healthy of a Rams team. As well as the 49ers defense has done in some of these games, they were going up against a really good team. And you're not going to do what you did to Jackson Dart and the New York Giants to the Rams because Matthew Stafford, they couldn't get no pressure. When you can't get pressure on Matthew Stafford, forget about it. You're not winning the game. So that was a good win for us. Steelers and Chargers, I'm pissed. I liked the Chargers. That was a boring-ass game, though, right? I mean, they really didn't score many points until the second half, and that was just the Chargers. The Steelers didn't do shit. Rodgers just looks like an old, grumpy old man. Every time he throws a pass, I mean, I know his guys are dropping fucking easy catch balls, but he's whining and screaming and pouting and shit, and it's like, dude, you know what? You signed up for this shit. Get out there and help your team win or retire, and go enjoy the rest of your life. Find something else to do with your time. You've had an incredible NFL career. He's like tarnishing his legacy. Like, it's like watching Joe Namath when he was on the Rams. You know what I mean? You have all those great years when he was on the Jets, and then he goes to the Rams. The same thing. You have Rodgers. All those incredible wins and the Hail Marys and all that shit he did with Green Bay. And now towards the end of his career, I mean, the injury with the Jets wasn't his fault. Then he comes back to next year, and they're not very good. And now he goes to the Steelers, and they're not playing well. And I know they have a winning record, but they're going to get knocked out. If Joe Burrow comes back by Thanksgiving and the Bengals can somehow even remain close, you got Baltimore. They got the big win as a pop. Look, they were the favorite this week, 1,740 entries. They beat up on the Vikings. I mean, the Steelers might be out of it, even though they started off with a winning record. This might be Tomlin's first losing record season. Or he'll go 9-8 and not make the playoffs. And then tonight's game, which was a fucking penalty fest. False starts and all kinds of shit. 10-7 is the final score. The Packers win the game on the road. I mean, the Eagles win the game on the road. Who knows what to make of this Packers team, man? I posted it on X. Like, I'm old enough to remember when the Packers whooped up on the Lions in week 1 of this season, and everybody was ready to anoint them the NFC representative in the Super Bowl. Now they're third in their own division, looking up at the playoffs. Like, they got to figure it out. They're just too inconsistent. And that's been like, I mean, usually it's the special teams that cost the Packers. Now it's just that they're too inconsistent on offense. And Jordan Love's a good quarterback. He really is. Like, he's got skills, but they got to figure it out. Like, what are they doing? I know they lost some of their best catchers, like Musgrave, who was, Tyler Kraft, who was, he was representing like almost 25% of their receiving output. So that's a big loss. But some of these other guys, like Christian Watson and them, like, the dude's always injured, and like he just never does anything. He's never in the game long enough to get like into the game. He'll have one big game every once in a while. The rest of the time it's just like, dude, where are you? On the trainer's table again? So the Eagles now are in a dominant position in their division. The Cowboys and the Redskins and the Giants are all just like, they're pretty much locking up a playoff spot unless something tragic happens. So we had a few big losers this week in Survivor, man. They're down to, I think, 1,000 entries now exactly. The Panthers lost. The number 1 pick, 490 selections. And it's funny, I was watching Wager Talk, and one of the hosts, Kelly Stewart, she was saying she was going to use the Panthers as her Survivor pick, and both of the other people on the show were like, no. Don't do it. And I think she might have gotten off of it. Hopefully she did and stayed in it. But also the Bills losing to the Dolphins. I mean, that was just as a 9.5 point favorite on the road. Another 261. And then who else? The Browns losing. The Bucks losing. That's another 17 with those two. And then the Jags losing. So that's another 18 added in. It actually, I believe, came out to exactly 769. So we're down to 1,000 entries. Here we are. We've just completed week 10. There's still 10 more weeks to go in Survivor because you've got Thanksgiving weekend and the Christmas holiday games as standalones. So even though we're beyond the 50% point of the regular season in the NFL, in this contest, we've just reached the halfway point. There is 17,600 plus entries eliminated. They started out with 18,600 and change entries, and here we are down to 1,000. $18.6 million on the line. You've still got 10 weeks to go. I mean, it's phenomenal. I don't think there's going to be more than, I'll say, 7 winners. At the end of the year, I don't think there'll be more than 7 potential people that will split up the pot. It might even be less. But, man, this has been a brutal first half to the year. Just brutal. $17.6 plus million worth of equity just added into the contest for the entire second half of the year. Whew. Number 1 and number 4 picks, man, wiped them out. Carolina is responsible for like the 2 biggest losers the last 2 weeks because they knocked out Green Bay last week when a lot of people were on the Packers. And then they come out this week and they shit all over themselves and lose as the number 1 selection. Instead of fading them, they went with them and they got burnt twice. She didn't burn you 1 time, she burnt me 2 times, as old dirty bastard said. And the Grandissimo, the $100,000 buy-in, winner takes all, $6.9 million to the winner. And you had some brutal upsets. The Bills lost. The Panthers lost. That's 5 right there. You are down to 6 entries remaining. I said it, and now it's almost a guarantee. This contest will be over before Thanksgiving. I think if there's down to 3 entries, because it's 6.9 million, right? So let's just say right now there's 6 entries remaining. 1.1, I don't know, 75 million a pop. If they decided to chop it right now, right? Would you be willing to take that? Let me see. I need to see who actually had them. So this person, Dino Collector, this is their second entry. So they had at least 2. Who else are the other winners? This is their 1. This is their 1. This is their 1. This is their second, Sammy Sadist of OF. And then Dream Team is 1, which is someone I follow on X, is actually part of the Dream Team. They're still going. So this person at least has 200,000 invested, or this group, as does this one. Would they be willing? You've got 200 grand or at least 100 grand. Some of these might have 2, but they're down to their first entry. Are you willing to settle for 1.9 million right now, or 1.75 million, somewhere around there, for your investment of $100,000 or $200,000? That person would probably be more interested in a chop right now. Or are you willing to maybe go another week or 2 and see if anybody else gets eliminated and up it, and then take the chance of you getting eliminated? It's a great question. We'll have to put that up on X on the Thursday night show, or maybe tomorrow. We'll post it up there and just see what's up. But yeah, so down to 6 entries. Mm. Or 1 point, what would be like 1.15 million, some shit like that, right? Yeah. 1.15 million. So let's just say if you've got one entry, you've made $1 million in 10 weeks. Not bad. And even if you've got, oh, you can't do that. Even if you've got 200,000 invested, you're making 915,000. Obviously, Uncle Sam's going to want to take their chunk. Greedy bastards. But I don't know. Are you willing to take it? It's a good question. I would. I would. Obviously it always depends on other people's financial situations cuz they might be well off, have a really high paying job where they're like, "You know what? I'm going for the whole goddamn thing." You know? And then there's others like some of these people are in groups, so you've got to agree to as a team want to take it, and maybe one person's financial situation in the group is a little more secure than the rest of the people in the group. But if you're, let's say that you're splitting it 4 ways, and you're only getting, let's just call it a million for the sake of argument. You're getting a million. That's 250K a piece, and now each one of you is going to have to pay taxes on that. So call it 75, depending on what kind of deductions and other tax stuff you can do to downgrade it. But let's just call it 75. So you end up with 175K for your $25,000 investment. You know what I mean? That doesn't sound as nice as if you're four deep and you get the 6.9 or even two, let's say 2.3 or 2.45. I mean, then you end up with like 1.5 million for your $25,000 investment. So obviously it's going to come, there's going to be some conversations to be had in the next few days to decide on what they're going to do. And then they've got to they've got to communicate with each other. And there's going to be some fucking lawyers involved. They're going to want to get paid because you got to have this shit in writing. You can't, this ain't no handshake bullshit where you're like, oh, we're going to split it up and the contest doesn't continue anymore. That don't work. You have to continue. Or, you take a percentage and you play for the remainder, which is what's happened in the other Survivor contests in the past, where each person got, I think it was like 1.25 million, and there was like 3 million left that they finished the season off to win. Yeah, there's definitely going to be some conversations to be had in the next couple of days on what's going to go on. I'll be keeping track of it on social media and seeing if there's any news regarding the Grandissimo. But all right, let's go ahead. These are the week 10. Well, this is the week 11 lines, the early lines. And we'll take a look real quick and just see what we like and what we don't like for this upcoming week's contest and just our plays in general. Jets and Patriots, boy, no doubt this is a inflated number. But do you have the guts to take 11.5 with the Jets and hope that Justin Fields and company can get it done again? I mean, like I said, they needed 2 special team touchdowns to beat Cleveland. Now you're going up against the Patriots on a 7-game winning streak. Covered the spread as a road dog against Tampa. Short week, laying a big number. Obviously, the underdogs have been the side for most of it this year. I think the Chargers won as a favorite because we had them. That was the one time we used Thursday night. So I won't be using this in the contest. I can tell you that much. But I'd take the over in this game. I know Thursday night games, they always have these shitty game plans. This is just an ugly game, ugly line. You don't know what you're going to get from the Jets. Are they all jacked up from their win? Are the Patriots going to really put the pedal down again after the big win in Tampa? It was a physical game. Their defense looks good, though, for the Patriots. Yeah, this is just disgusting. I want nothing to do with that game. And now the Madrid game. I believe this is the last international game of the year. And we've got the Washington Commanders going up against the Miami Dolphins. Boy. I mean, the Dolphins obviously got that huge win. They ran the ball all over Buffalo. Buffalo just... Josh Allen does not look happy right now with how the offense is being run. Very weird. And, of course, it's the fishy -2.5 line. This Commanders defense is just not great. They did not look very good. But Detroit's a really good team. You know, everybody. But, you know, they ran the ball on them. What do the Dolphins want to do? They want to run. All right, at least that's what everybody's going to see. So, obviously, the Dolphins are probably the more popular side here after their big win. Do you fade them off the big win? Or do you take them and think they're going to keep it going? Let's see if anybody like McLaurin comes back for the Commanders. If Terry McLaurin's back in the offense, back in the lineup, and I think the Dolphins are going to be the more popular side. If this line goes to 3, I would take the Commanders with the 3 points. I don't think the Dolphins are going to be able to repeat their performance. They just played out of their minds in that game. Now they got to go down to Madrid. I'm sure they were celebrating in South Beach. The Commanders looked really pissed off after getting their asses whooped by the Lions. If this gets up to 3, which I believe it will, give me the Commanders plus the 3, and I'll take the under in this game. I think it's not going to be nearly as high scoring. Both of these teams are going to be... It's in Spain. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way you're going to be playing at your peak performance. So, give me the Commanders when this line hits 3. And I'll take the under 47.5. I prefer the under to the spread, that's for sure. Steelers and the Bengals. Bengals defense can't stop shit. Steelers offense couldn't do anything against the Chargers. The Chargers defense is really good. The Bengals defense is not good. But this number is just, I don't know, 5.5. Didn't the Bengals just beat up on the Steelers a couple of weeks ago when Joe Flacco's first game? Yeah, they won that game. Give me the Steelers. If it gets to 4.5, if it's actually 4.5, not 5.5, it is showing a 4.5 here, although there's more 5.5s. And yeah, it looks like it's maybe. Yeah, the Steelers ran into a really good defense in the Chargers. I mean, their defense didn't really give up that much to the Chargers until later on in that game when they'd been on the field for a lot. And I think they've got revenge on their mind. This is a Tomlin game here. I know this feels like a big number in a division rivalry, but that's the point. They're going to be able to score on this Bengals porous defense. And I just don't know what... I mean, I know the Bengals are like talking about Joe Burrow coming back around Thanksgiving. So if they can just maybe squeak out a win or two, especially in this game, and knock the Steelers down a peg with the Ravens, you know, obviously starting off poorly and now getting back into the groove, but their record is bad. I believe they're, 4-5? And then, obviously Cleveland ain't doing shit this year. So, yeah, this is a huge game for Cincinnati, but I don't know, man. I don't think their defense has got it in them to stop the Steelers team. We're going to have to look into the injury reports for both of these teams. But I think laying the 4.5 with the Steelers is the right side here. The Steelers will create a couple of turnovers, which will be the difference in this game, and Rodgers will actually be able to complete some passes. Things he couldn't get done against that stiff Chargers defense. That's not who they're facing. They're going to be able to move the ball on this Cincinnati team. 49.5. I'd take the under. It's a lot of points for that game. They're obviously not expecting too much defense. Ugh. Panthers at the Falcons. This is a rematch of the 30-0 shutout that the Panthers put on them earlier in the year in Carolina. And now they are 3.5-point road dogs. This team shut this team out. Carolina shut out the Falcons in 30-0 at home. And they were the underdog in that game. And now they're the underdog again on the road, plus 3.5. I don't know what to make of this. Michael Penix, oh my God, 0 for 8 on third downs, dude. Come on. Really? I don't think they've converted a third down in like 2 weeks. Seriously. I'll have to go back and look at the week 9 game, but I don't think they converted any third downs. That's just fucking unacceptable. Especially when the Falcons signed Kirk Cousins to that big-ass contract and got him sitting over there on the bench. It's like, dude, you got to do something with the guy. You know, at some point you have to tell Penix, look, this ain't your day. You're just not feeling it. We're going to bring Kirk in and see if we can win this game. Nope. They completely squander it and lose the game outright in overtime. All that said, the Falcons are going to win and cover this game, and that's the point. They're making it plus 3.5 for a reason. They want you to take the points with Carolina because of the 30-0 shutout and the fact that Atlanta lost to Indy in overtime. But Indianapolis is actually a really good team, and yes, Jonathan Taylor had some big gains in that one. But I don't know. The Panthers have been able to run the ball, but their offensive line is still banged up. That's why part of the reason why we faded them last week. If they don't get those guys back, they're going to be in for trouble. And this Falcons team can run the ball. The Panthers defense has not been very good. There's no way you could have a worse game when it comes to completing passes than Penix did. And they didn't take the bye after the international game. So I think the Broncos were the only other team this year that played the following week after going overseas, and they won that game. So maybe keeping it instead of having the bye week after that loss and having to go and sulk and and try to forget about everything. You're back in the facilities with the coach up your ass, pointing out all the things you did wrong and telling you what you need to do to help this team win. Yeah, I think Atlanta's going to be the right side here. We might be... Uh-oh. We lost the camera. What happened? Oh, there it goes. Something was coming through on the camera. It was making it go blurry. But yeah, I don't know. Atlanta might make the card again. I mean, we're 4-1. 4-1. Backing the Falcons this year against the spread in the Circa Million contest. I've never used Atlanta more than once in a contest. I don't since the early beginnings. Maybe in the beginnings I might have used them 2 times, but I almost never use them in the contest simply because I like to leave my personal feelings out of it. I don't want my biases to get in the way, even though it's happened several times, like when they played Miami and I knew they were going to get their asses kicked. But I won't fade them. I'll go with them if I think they can cover, and I think they might be able to cover this game. You're going to get a good performance from Penix, I think. He won't be nearly as inaccurate as he was. I don't know if maybe going overseas and all the bullshit that goes along with all that PR stuff you got to do maybe had him off his game. We'll see. He's at home, friendly confines of Mercedes-Benz Stadium, so the bird's nest. The crowd will be on his side. They'll be rocking. They're going to want to go up against a division rival, so it's a good spot for the Falcons to get right and maybe turn their season around. The Bucs are starting to run away with the NFC South. Thankfully, they lost last week. I mean, we were on them. I would have preferred that they won and covered the spread, but the fact that they didn't win without covering, which could have potentially happened. They were lost by, 5? Had they scored the touchdown and not made the 2-point conversion, they would have won by 1 point and we would have got fucked because it was -2.5. So the fact that they didn't win, they lost outright. Fuck them. At least it's something good for my team. And look at this total. 42.5. They are not expecting a lot of points. I take the over, though. I think that's wrong. I think Atlanta's going to look to score. They're going to look to try to open it up against this Panthers mediocre defense. Texans and Titans. Blech. Titans off the bye. Texans off that tremendous come-from-behind win. Getting it done as 1.5-point home dogs. Now they are road favorites of -7.5. Will it be C.J. Stroud or will it be Davis Mills? I'm sure Stroud should be back from that concussion. Unless it was really serious, he should be able to play. Davis Mills didn't do much for 3 quarters, and the defense really kept them in that game and allowed them that opportunity to make that comeback. I don't think they should be 7.5-point favorites, but this Titans offense and this Titans team in general has just been horrendous at covering spreads. Of course, they covered against the Chargers when we had them -8.5, and they lost by 7 after kicking a garbage time field goal and scoring 2 non-offensive touchdowns. But it feels like the Titans are the right side here. I've said it earlier in the year. I think the Titans have more ATS wins than straight-up wins. They're always going to be inflated because the books know that the public opinion of the Titans is that they're a really bad team. But their defense isn't that bad. And they've got some playmakers on offense. It's all about protecting Cam Ward. But, boy, can the Texans get after the quarterback. They lost some guys, though, to injury, so we're going to have to take a look at that. But, I mean, between Danielle Hunter and I can't think of his name right now. The other guy's not Stingley. Damn, I can't think of his name. And I can picture him too. But the other defensive end, they can really get after the quarterback, man. And Rankins, he made a great play. So this is a tough one. Right? And what's the harder decision? To take 7.5 with the Titans or to lay 7.5 with the Texans? Right? Certainly feels like laying 7.5 with the Texans is the harder decision to make. We'll have to look more into this one. It just seems like it's inflated because of the perception of the Titans and the Texans with that big come-from-behind win. Their offense was stagnant, though. Only 39.5. There are some low totals this week. Low totals. 43.5, 42.5, 39.5. And now we move to the next game. Packers at the Giants. Packers with that sorry-ass performance on Monday night tonight. I mean, too many penalties, man, by both teams, man. It's just, you can't win like that. You just don't know what you're going to get from the Packers. Now they're going up against the Giants. Is Jackson Dart going to play? They just fired their head coach, so it's going to be an interim head coach. Do you get the interim coach bump? I mean, look at this number, 8.5 to 7.5. Oh, this is another ugly spread. Everybody's going to say, take the points with the Giants. The Packers have been shit, blah, blah, blah. And they're probably right. If it's 8.5, I'd probably take the Giants. But it's going to depend on who's playing for New York and what the injury report looks like for the Packers after tonight's game. Another low total, 44.5. This has backdoor over written all over it. That garbage time touchdown by fucking Russell Wilson or some shit. He had an opportunity to score in that game to get him the win and couldn't do it, though. I don't know about this game. I would take the over 44.5, but man, what an ugly spread. Bears at the Vikings, NFC North matchup. Bears on a heater right now. Ben Johnson's got this team believing in themselves. Caleb Williams is pulling shit out of his ass with these Houdini plays. And then J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings, I mean, they struggled against Baltimore. Baltimore's offense opened it up. It was just a difficult game all the way around, but he's not playing horrendous. And they got great playmakers on the Vikings. I mean, if they can just get these guys the ball. And they're home dogs of -3. Let's call it -3. This feels right. This feels like this is a 3-point game. I'd probably take the 3 with the Bears. It's going to be a tough environment, and I think maybe the Bears stumble here. They've been so fortunate these last couple of weeks. If they can't get any pass rush on J.J. McCarthy, maybe they're able to score here. No, give me the Vikings. I would prefer this at -2.5, though. I feel like 3, it's probably going to be a 3-point game. So I would take the 3 with the Bears. But if it goes to 2.5, -2.5 in Minnesota's favor, I'll probably be looking at the Vikings. It's -3.5 though, so let's see how the betting action goes. 48 to 48.5, 47.5. Opened up at 45.5. Yeah, this feels like an under, barely under. Like 27-21 under. Yeah, don't get it. If you're going to bet the under, make sure you get the 48.5 or better. 48 to 47.5, you might be disappointed. I wouldn't take it anything under 48.5. It really does feel like a 27-21 game. 27-20, something like that. Very close. 26-20. Buccaneers and Bills. Bucks, big loss at home. Bills, big loss on the road. I wonder if they're staying in Florida, if they're flying back to Buffalo and then back down to Florida again. It would make sense to, I mean, it's not like it's that far. I mean, not that long of a flight. They're flying private, so they probably went home. They'll fly back to Tampa. 5.5 points, though. Interesting number. Let's see who the Bucks get back from injury. Will Godwin and Bucky Irvin be playing this week? Looks like the Bills might have lost some guys to injury during that Miami game, so we're going to have to take a look at that one, particularly on their defense and their secondary. But give me the points with the Bucks. It's going to be a close game. This is a 3 to 4 point game. This line feels inflated. I know the Bills, though, they're probably as of now, take the Bucks, but we'll see how that goes. And then look at the total, 49.5. So they're expecting a shootout. If you can get it at 49 to even 48.5, I would take the over. Chargers at the Jags. Chargers are playing really well, but what's up with their offensive line? And the Jags, big loss, disappointing loss. I mean, they just squandered that lead, allowing them to come back, allowing Houston to come back in that game. That's who the Jags are, though. They are an incomplete team. I like the Chargers in this one, but I think it's going to be very popular. We'll have to look more into it, but I'm laying the 2.5, even if it's juiced. Give me -2.5 with the Chargers. Better quarterback, better coach, better defense. Yeah. Give me the under 44. And it opened at 46, so it's moved down 2.5 points already. Seahawks and Rams, the game of the week. I'm so disappointed in myself that I swapped out the Seahawks, man. I knew they were a much better team than Arizona. Now they're getting 2.5 to 3 points on the road against the Rams. I know the Rams have looked like world beaters, but I don't think they've faced a defense as good as the Seahawks. And a lot of people watched that game against the 49ers, but again, the 49ers defense could not get pressure on the quarterback. What can the Seahawks do? They can get pressure with 4. Leonard Williams is a beast, man. I don't know why this guy isn't getting talked about for Defensive Player of the Year. But he is the key to their defensive front getting pressure. I think they're going to fluster Matthew Stafford. Give me the points with the Seahawks in this one. I like the Seahawks. I just think they're a much better defense. Sam Darnold is playing lights out right now. Bashir Shaheed adds an extra element to their offense. Their running game is good. Their offensive line has been good. Turnovers by Darnold are concerning me. He's gotten real loose with the ball the last couple weeks. But, the defense playing lights out has allowed them to overcome them. But you can't give this LA Rams team short fields because they will make you pay. Nakua and Adams are a formidable 1-2 punch, and their running game is lights out. Fishy -2.5 line, though. So give me the points with the Seahawks. And give me the under. 25-17. 49ers and Cardinals. Are the 49ers going to ever get Brock Purdy and Pearsall back? Are these guys going to ever play? And who the hell is playing on their defense? And then as far as Arizona is concerned, they didn't play horrible. If it wasn't for those 2 fumbles returned for touchdowns. It's one thing to fumble the ball. It's another thing for the same guy, to pick both balls up and run them in for touchdowns. It was just devastating. Now they're getting 3 points at home. I take the Cardinals in the points at home. I just don't think the pass rush for the 49ers is going to do anything even remotely close to what Seattle did. And we've seen that when Brissett actually has time to sit back there and throw, he was getting the ball to his guys. They were trying to make a comeback in that game, and the defense played well, and they were without 3 of their starting corners in that game and their starting linebacker. So are any of those guys going to be back? Sean Murphy-Bunting won't be back. I think he's on IR. But the other 2 cornerbacks and the middle linebacker could potentially play this week. That's a huge boost to their defense, which isn't playing badly. I'm taking, if it's +3, I'm taking +3 with with the Cardinals at home. And take the under. I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game. But let's see who's playing for the 49ers, particularly on offense. Ravens and Browns. Ravens off that big win. Browns off that disappointing loss, with the 2 kick return touchdowns being the difference. Now they're getting 8.5 points at home against the Ravens. Ravens defense hasn't been that good. It's just their offense is hiding the warts. Meanwhile, Dylan Gabriel, he is a rookie, but he's progressing. He's going to make rookie mistakes. That's obvious. Big number, too. I don't like this at all. I hate laying big numbers with the Ravens because too many times they squander big leads late in the game. This has backdoor cover written all over it. Give me the Browns plus the 8.5. With such a low total, I just don't know how you don't take the points in this game. Unless this is also a red herring. The total's a red herring to throw you off the scent that the Ravens are the side, but I don't think so. If it's 8.5, give me the Browns. They know each other well. The defense usually can contain Lamar Jackson from being able to get the explosive runs. And their defensive front has kind of held Henry in check at some time. So, yeah. Give me the Browns plus the points. I don't want anything to do with the total, though. It's just such a low total. Chiefs and Broncos. I mean, I know the Seattle Rams game is a big one, but this is a big one too. And that's also in the late window. So another hopefully good set of games in the late window. Chiefs and Broncos. This is a battle with the Chargers for the AFC West. I mean, these three teams right now are in a dogfight with each other. Chiefs are the low man on the totem pole. But now they're laying 3.5, going to Mile High. And I originally I had my 5 that I looked at yesterday, and they're in it. I said the Chiefs minus 2.5. It's already gone up to 3.5. The 6 games I clicked on early yesterday when I was looking at the original opening lines was Minnesota minus 2.5, Dallas minus 3.5, KC minus 2.5. I had San Francisco minus 1, but I think I'm going to change. Depends. We'll have to see what the injuries are. Seattle, as I said, and then the Chargers minus 1. But this game here, man, I don't know where this line's going to stop. The Broncos are one of the best teams in the fourth quarter, but they've also been incredibly lucky against some less than stellar competition. Now they're going up against the Chiefs off their bye, off that loss. Yeah, I like Kansas City in this spot here. I like Andy Reid off the bye. He's always really good. He's always got a good game plan going, and I think it's time for Bo Nix to fall back to earth. They can't keep getting this lucky every week. It's the reason why this number's where it is. They want you to take the Broncos in the points, but I'm not falling for it. Give me Kansas City minus 3. This might make the card, depending on where it ends, where the line ends up for the contest. But I would bet minus 3.5. I wouldn't go much higher than that, though. Lions and Eagles. So we do have some good games this week. That's the Sunday night game. Obviously, hopefully this is a much better performance than what we've seen in the last couple of primetime games. Only a 1 to 1.5 point spread. Eagles look like they may have lost a couple guys in this game, though. A couple of their offensive linemen got carted out to see where they are. Looks like the Lions lost some of their secondary guys. Again, they're thin on the defensive side of the ball. So this is a injury report game for sure. I don't know if we'll have anything to do with it in the contest. Everybody's probably going to want to go with the Lions because they've just been a cash register. They cover every week. So I could understand completely why they would be popular side here. The Eagles looked pedestrian in their game tonight, and they've been one of the more lucky teams, inconsistent teams. They haven't really put together a full 4-quarter game where they've dominated. This is just, I don't think I didn't put anything about that on there. This is a tough one. I would take the under 49 though. I think the defenses will do enough to maybe keep them out of the end zone. Gonna have to kick a couple field goals. That'll be the difference in the total. So try to get it maybe 9. If you can find it at 9.5, take the under for sure. But as far as the side goes, it's hard not to take the Lions here. I mean, for me, it's Detroit or nothing. I know they're on the road outdoors, but if there's no inclement weather, Goff should be good. And then the final game is the Cowboys at the Raiders. That's our Monday night game. Real fucking snooze fest there. Two teams that are essentially out of it. I mean, the Eagles are running away with the NFC East, and the Raiders have no shot at winning the AFC West. So I don't think either team will make a wild card spot because there's just too many other good teams that are gonna gobble up those those 3 spots. I don't know how the Cowboys would have to go on a hell of a winning streak, and they haven't been. I mean, they lost to Arizona on Monday Night Football 2 weeks ago. They're coming off the bye now. That's why I took them though, -3.5. The Raiders have just so inconsistent. I don't think their offense can do anything against this Cowboys defense. As bad as this Cowboys defense has been, I don't know if the Raiders are going to be able to do much. They ain't done shit. They've had like 1 or 2 decent games, but Geno Smith looks horrible. The offensive line can't block. Gentry's getting creamed in the backfield before he even gets the ball. And then you've got the Cowboys who struggled against Arizona, but again, Arizona's a better team than people are giving them credit for. And their offense didn't look great, but we've seen how many points they can put up. The Raiders defense has no secondary. They got no answers for CeeDee Lamb and Pickens. I think they're going to be hot after losing in prime time, and they're coming back. They're playing again in prime time. They're not want to be embarrassed 2 times in a row in front of the entire nation, in front of the entire NFL nation. So I'm willing to lay the 3.5 with Dallas. That might also make the card. We'll see where this line ends up on Thursday when Circa releases the numbers. But as I said, as of right now, I like Minnesota, Dallas, Kansas City, San Francisco, Seattle, and the Chargers. Those are the 6 teams I'm really looking hard at. And we'll have to do a little bit more deeper in-depth evaluation to determine where we'll be. And then obviously we've got the Thursday night watch party right here on YouTube, Dead Money Sports, where we will, I don't know, we've got the Jets and the Patriots. I don't know. We'll do the line release show and at least get a better understanding of where we're at. I don't know if I'm going to do the entire live stream for that game. That's just, I have no interest in watching that game, and I'm sure most of you have no interest in watching me live stream about that game. So there you have it. Those are the Week 11 lines. This is my early predictions for Week 11. Be sure to join me on Thursday, as I said, for the lines release show. We'll be live at 5:15 on Thursday, and then join me on Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific for the selections release show and my 5 picks, the NFL contest show, right here on Dead Money Sports. Well, that's the end of the show, folks. And I hope you made some money this weekend. I know we went 3-2, but we've got to do better than that moving forward. Good luck to everyone, and take care of yourselves out there.
Waiting.